Here's how I improved my life within 6 to 12 months while after being diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I decided to turn these lemons, into some delicious ass lemon loaf. So go ahead, click that like button, subscribe, and let's lock in and let's get into it. So one of the steps that I personally took while I was dealing with my own personal anguish at the time, my own personal trauma, was I wanted to really get to know who I was at that moment. I understood that with now being diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety, that certain parts of me wasn't really the same anymore. So I had to kind of reintroduce myself all over again. So what I did was a lot of self-assessment, a lot of self-reflection. So what I started off with was with a SWOT analysis. So I'm not sure if you know what a SWOT analysis is, but it's strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now, typically, most people use a SWOT analysis primarily for their business, but I am my own investment. So I decided to invest the SWOT analysis for myself, and I basically just went through it and wrote out what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, and what could be standing in my way. And once I kind of did the SWOT analysis, I also leaned on some amazing support people to also ask some questions in terms of any feedback they would give me that I should use going forward. Now, I also want to just pipe in right there. I was in therapy. I still am in therapy dealing with that PTSD that I was diagnosed with at the time, and anxiety. Shout out to my therapist. So the second step I did also was I clarified the goals that I wanted to set for my next 6 to 12 months. I wanted to figure out how I was going to prioritize it. And by doing that, I used the SMART. And by doing that, I used SMART acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound. This was a good way for me to break down exactly what the goal was, or goals perhaps, and how I wanted to achieve them the best way, and what time and what fashion I wanted to do it in, and what was going to work with me or where I was at the moment. Because the thing is, I've done that before, but at that time, now being diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety, I had to now figure out another way to navigate it. Because again, the person I was before, unfortunately, wasn't quite there, no longer exists, and meet myself where I was at that very moment. Once I kind of used the SMART acronym, I then try to break down a plan. I love pen and paper. I write everything out. I did use my computer a couple times. I did use voice note a couple times if I was on the go and an idea came to me. If I was with my family, an idea came to me, and I was like, okay, like this is a great way for me to use it for my own goals. So it's just basically like I wrote out a plan, a very intricate plan. And if you want that plan, literally, click the link in my bio. It's the transformation kit. It'll break down how you can set the goals, but also how you could create your own plan. I was also able to kind of tap in any resource I would need, any support I would needed, working with other mentors, talking to friends, talking to family, talking to my therapist, those type of steps. If I needed any of that, it was also in my plan. So now that we got the plan, I had to figure out how to actually implement it into my routine. I started looking into what are my values at that moment, what are the habits that I know that I actually enjoy, and it also will help me grow in this process to meet that goal, to also take the action steps to meet that goal, and how can I stick to my routine consistently. So I'll give you a little bit of an example. Upon when the situation happened at my job, I was on my routine, but I wasn't fully on my routine. Like, I was going through something at the time I didn't even realize. And after the situation happened, I was not doing my routine at all. I just didn't feel motivated, I didn't feel inspired. I wasn't really quite where I wanted to be. So when I was becoming very frustrated because the things that I used to do were no longer hitting the spots. So what I then decided to do was like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Maybe I'm not feeling this, maybe I'm not feeling that. Maybe we could bring that in later. So I started off with just like three must have non-negotiables in my routine, which was prayer, meditation, journaling. Those are my three staples. After that, then I incorporated stretching. After that, I incorporated exercise. After that, I incorporated affirmations. And now I got a long list of my routine that I enjoy to do, but I allowed myself to take like bite sizes, not big chunks, bite sizes. We're in it for the marathon, y'all. We're not just in it just to constantly run a sprint. You feel me? Sometimes we just have to take that nice little jog and allow ourselves to pick up and figure out where we are right now and how it's going to benefit and help us. The next step, which I kind of mentioned in the last step, is to journal. Reflect as much as you can, because you're going to have to adjust as you go along. So be able to reflect and be open to adjusting, because life gonna be life, people gonna be people, things are gonna happen. You may be triggered, God knows what happens. So you just want to be able and open to adjust where you need to adjust, and be also open for opportunities that could come your way. Be also open for learning and growth, because it's not all going to just be bad things. That life be life, people be people. And sometimes an opportunity may come literally right in front of you, and you're gonna be like, you know what, I could hop on this right now, I could do it. And that's why the self-reflection, which is the first one, is so important, because it's checking in with yourself to make sure that you're at the position to actually handle whatever comes forth to you. And the last one, which I think is extremely important, is accountability partners. It's important to have people that hold you accountable. I know that sometimes we feel like we don't want to share goals with people, but it's important to have like some people around you that can hold you accountable. So like they check in with you, like, hey, how's that project doing? Hey, how are you doing with that? I got a couple of them. My partner's one, and I have a couple of best friends that also will check on me to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And sometimes I'm like, damn, I did tell them to hold me accountable. But at the same time, I'm like thankful for them, because they're holding me accountable so I can stay on my path and stay on my P's and Q's. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. And if you never want to miss another video just like this one, don't forget to click that subscribe button as well. And as always, y'all, I will see you on the next video. Walk with peace and walk with love.